The UK is on target to lose 500,000 millionaires by 2028, according to the Swiss bank UBS. In an article in the Financial Times, it is stated that the Swiss bank issues alarming outlook for the wealthy in Britain, but the flight of non-doms is only a small factor. Now, keep in mind that non-doms contribute 8.7 billion into the coffers each year, even though they are non-doms, but they are effectively the easiest people to just leave and stop paying, and that's indeed what will happen. But that's just a fraction of what is happening. And in a report published on Wednesday, it projected that the number of dollar millionaires in the country would fall 17% from 3.062 million in 23 to 2.542 million in 2028. And further down, and this is the alarming one, and quite sad to be honest, the UK has the third highest number of dollar millionaires after the US and China. For a country the size of the UK, or even the economy the size of the UK, that's quite a remarkable statistic. Donovan said due to the high levels of nomadic millionaires in the country, he added, the UK would be disproportionately affected by shifts in millionaire relocations. Now, keep in mind, we often think of the 1% as the wealthy element of our society, and indeed they are. Now, the problem being is that when we think of the 1%, we tend to think of super rich, and that's not quite the case. 1% of our population, which represents less than 700,000 people, and of those people, to qualify to be in the 1%, you need an income of 180 something thousand a year, or assets of 2.3 or 2.4 million, somewhere around there, to be classed as being in the 1%. Now, as I said, 1% equates to less than 700,000 people, and we have a risk of losing up to 500,000 over the next 3 or 4 years. And even though there may be a few new millionaires made or created in the meantime, that still leaves a huge shortfall. In reality, what will happen is that this attitude, this politics of envy and resentment will backfire dramatically, and it will be, once again, those most in need who will suffer the most, because we have this exodus of thousands of people, and this has accelerated since the election. I wonder why. Leaving the country because they can, so they will not contribute to this economy anymore. And every one of those people who leaves, that is a disproportional loss to the economy. That is not the way to grow the economy, and that's certainly not the way to pay our way out of the catastrophe that we are in at the moment. And yet we have these offshore companies, be they Amazon, be they Starbucks, etc., using clever accounting, because they are huge corporations and they can afford to outsmart the governments and stay ahead of them, that they effectively pay much less than they should do. And therein is the argument for many of these companies to be subjected to a sales tax. If you sell in the UK, you pay in the UK. And if you are that way inclined, go through some of these huge companies like Amazon, look at the volume of internet sales, consider the billions of pounds worth of products that come via mail order through be Amazon, be eBay, etc. from China. There might only be a few pounds, but it adds up to billions over the year, and nothing is paid on those. And yet what is happening is individuals who happen to have some wealth are being penalised to the point where they are leaving the country. Now, for those of you considering this, I would urge you to take a closer look at what is happening in Canada. Will that happen here? I don't know, because Canada has a departure tax. And what that departure tax is, it's a capital gains tax on all assets over 25,000 Canadian dollars, I believe, of up to or around 25%. Again, conduct your own research. And if you have these assets and you want to leave the country, what they then do is they then calculate your capital gains liability on your assets that you are holding in Canada, and they demand that you pay the capital gains tax on that asset, be it a property, be it stocks, shares, and a wide selection of other assets, even though you haven't sold the asset. It wouldn't surprise me if something similar is put in place in the UK to try to grab as much as possible from these people before they leave, but that remains to be seen. Either way, this is not the way to do things. It has and will have a catastrophic effect on our economy, and that raises the question, is that what they want? Is this intentional? Is this strategy or incompetence? I really don't know, because based on what we've seen in the last few weeks, nothing would surprise me from the current administration, and nothing would surprise me from the mindset, the resentful, toxic, Marxist mindset that is at the helm of our country at the moment. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Thank you very much. Bye bye for now, and I'll see you next time.